So guys, in today's video, we will be theorizing about a potential Bart and Nora Flash spin-off coming after The Flash ends. So let's talk about it. Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash. And since we know The Flash is coming to an end this season, this obviously brings up the question of us possibly seeing any potential spin-offs coming from the show, with us exploring some of the other speedster characters we've had on the show more in depth. We've had a plethora of speedsters that's come from the show that are not main characters. We've had Wally West, we've had Jesse Quick, we've had Bart and Nora, as well as the most recent one, Mina Thawne, aka Fast Track. A lot of which have become huge fan favorites that a lot of us would really love to see more of. So yeah, for this video we will be theorizing about a potential spin-off coming from two certain speedsters, most specifically Bart and Nora West Allen, and I will be talking about the potential of us actually getting a Flash spin-off series like this once the show comes to an end. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so it is no surprise that when you think of a spin-off series for the show, the first thing that comes to mind is exploring the future 2049 with Barry Allen and Iris West Allen's children, Bart Allen and Nora West Allen. I believe that this spin-off series is the most possible one out of all of the other speedster characters we've had on the show if we are able to get a spin-off from the show. And I believe that this is the one most people would love to see as well. Now obviously we've had Bart and Nora making their debut in The Flash Season 7. We got to see them also recur very frequently throughout The Flash Season 8, and it's no doubt that we're going to see them in The Flash Season 9 as well. And it is no surprise that these two are fan favorite characters that a lot of us have really enjoyed since they first appeared. So yeah, I do think that this would be a really cool spin-off series to explore. We kind of did get a taster to what a Bart and Nora show would look like in episode 6 of season 8, with obviously the episode being purely centered around Bart and Nora and no one else. Now despite me not being a fan of that episode due to so many cheesy moments we've had, it was a very fun episode, there is no doubt, and I do know that a lot of people really enjoyed that episode as well. But regardless of my opinion on the episode, I do admit that it was a really fun episode. The tone of the episode just wasn't for me. But I would really love to see these characters get a spin-off. I love Jessica Parker Kennedy's performance with this new Nora West Allen that they brought in season 7, and Jordan Fisher just kills it as Bart Allen. So I would really love for this to happen. So I do believe that if this spin-off were to happen, us Flash fans would be in for a ride for this one, and we would love to see something like this happen. And also it would feel very much like The Flash, and I think a lot of people will really like that aspect of it. Now obviously if this spin-off was to happen, there would be certain things that they need to amend and change, because we know Grant Gustin will not be on the show, nor will Candice Patton, and we know they are alive in 2049, but we know they're definitely not going to be like series regulars or anything like that if this show was to go ahead. So they obviously need to do some sort of scenario where these characters are written out of the equation in some way. It is possible for us to have Jay Garrick around as well. I do think that would be a possibility, but we are definitely not going to be getting any of like the main core Team Flash members if this was to happen. It would just be with Bart and Nora with a bunch of new characters, and maybe see Barry or even Iris recur every once in a while, like once or twice a season. But it won't be that much, and once again I doubt that would happen. There are obviously two ways this could happen, either with A, we're going to be getting a backdoor pilot in one of the episodes of The Flash Season 9, just like what they did with Arrow and Green Arrow and the Canaries, just purely centered around Bart and Nora, and they will see the reception it gets from fans, or they will get the idea pitched without a backdoor pilot and either gets accepted or denied. That being said, I do not want the backdoor pilot route. I think it is unnecessary. We only have 13 episodes of The Flash left and potentially 2 graphic novels, so I don't think we should get a backdoor pilot. I think whatever they do with season 9, it should just be purely centered around The Flash. The main focus for every single episode of The Flash season 9 should be centered around Barry Allen as the main focus. Now speaking of the spin-off, Is this spin-off necessary? We also need to take that into equation, and the answer for that is obviously it isn't. It's not necessary. Just like Green Arrow and the Canaries, it will pretty much be the Flash 2.0. It will feel exactly like the Flash. Speedster protagonists related to the Flash, having a bunch of smart people helping out possibly, and a bunch of investigating and like high-tech things happening as well. It's going to feel exactly like the Flash, and I know this is something fans would really want to see. But realistically, if you think about it in like a business perspective, it is not necessary. Do I think this show will happen? It really depends. From what they seem to be doing, and obviously with interviews taken into consideration as well, it's pretty clear that they're trying to be rid of the Arrowverse. They canceled a bunch of shows already. The Flash is on its final season, and it is the final Arrowverse show as well. It is literally the last. So when the Flash ends, the Arrowverse is over. But if this spin-off comes about, then the Arrowverse is obviously continuing because it's continuing on from the story of the Flash. So if they go ahead with the show, obviously that means that the Arrowverse is still continuing. And from interviews with like David Ramsey, it seems like they are trying to expand on the Superman and Lois verse. Nothing has been confirmed about that in terms of anything coming from like the showrunner or like anyone higher up. This is just coming from an actor that is most likely speculating. Obviously, I don't know. Maybe David Ramsey knows more than what we know, but I'm assuming he's speculating for now, or maybe he did get a rough idea on what they're trying to do and he's just telling us fans that they're trying to expand on the Superman and Lois verse, but I'm not entirely sure. So just because of that, I really doubt that this spin-off would happen. However, another way you could tackle this if they really wanted to do it, but not go ahead with the Arrowverse route, is make it set on another Earth, taking place within the Superman and Lois verse, and their storylines from the Arrowverse and the Superman and Lois verse would be very similar. They could obviously do that. But I don't know. I don't think fans would be too on board with the idea, and I don't really like the idea of us fans just having to assume that the exact same things that happened on the Arrowverse will happen in the Superman and Lois verse. I really don't like that idea. So honestly, I don't know. But if you ask me, just like Green Arrow and the Canaries, and yes, obviously despite the fact that The Flash is the more popular show and Bart and Nora are definitely more popular characters than Mia Queen, unfortunately, I don't think this will happen, which sucks. I would absolutely love to see a spin-off with Bart and Nora. It would be really cool. And also just seeing the guardianship of Central City shift to the kids and us exploring the future, exploring 2049 with Bart and Nora. I do genuinely think it's a cool idea, but I just don't think it will happen. Now, when The Flash Season 8 ended, Eric Wallace did obviously do an interview with Deadline. I did do a video on this before, but there was a question of a potential Flash spin-off being looked at, and this is what Eric Wallace had to say about it. I'm adding on this video because I still think it's pretty interesting and does kind of give an answer. So the question is, are there any Flash spin-offs being looked at this point? So this was obviously after The Flash Season 8 ended. And Eric Wallace responds, no, because you really don't start looking at spin-offs until you think you're not coming back. And I'm not thinking that way. Now, having said that, obviously we've introduced a lot of characters over the last couple of seasons. I would say to the audience, if you have some characters that we have introduced in the last few years that you want to see in a spin-off, you should write it to the CW. But I'm going to just stay focused on The Flash right now before I start focusing on anything else. Now, bear in mind, in the first line of what Eric Wallace says, he says, you don't really start looking at spin-offs until you think you're not coming back. And obviously, this is the end of The Flash. The Flash is ending with Season 9. So there is obviously a possibility that Eric Wallace could be looking at potential spin-offs for the show. Obviously, a Wally West show is possible. And then, as I said, the most likely one is going to be a Bart and Nora one if this does happen. So maybe Eric Wallace is taking it into consideration already. I'm not entirely sure. But I guess we will have to wait and see for more answers. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below if you guys would love to see a Bart and Nora spin-off, or be sure to tell me which other spin-offs you guys would like to see coming from the other speedsters on the show. I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.